The Third Age of Middle-earth was a time of twilight for the elves. The once glorious realms of the Eldar, Lindon, Rivendell, and Lothlorien stood as the last bastions of their fading power. The rings of power, crafted in the fires of a region long ago, had sustained their beauty and grace, but now, with the One Ring found, the doom of the elves drew near. Sauron's shadow stretched across the land, and the elves knew their time in Middle-earth was ending. For centuries, they had watched the rise and fall of kingdoms, the folly of men, and the ever-growing darkness. Yet, even as they prepared to depart for the undying lands, they played a crucial role in the fate of Middle-earth. This is their story, the tale of wisdom, sorrow, and sacrifice, as seen through the eyes of the firstborn. In the hidden valley of Rivendell, Lord Elrond half-elven called a gathering unlike any other. Messengers from all free peoples had come, but it was the elves who understood the true peril of the One Ring. Elrond, his face grave, spoke of Isildur's failure and the ring's corrupting power. The ring must be destroyed, he declared, his voice echoing through the halls. But the road to Mount Doom is perilous, and Sauron's forces grow stronger by the day. Among the attendees, Glorfindel, the mighty elf lord who had once faced a Balrog, stood in silent agreement. Yet even he, with his ancient power, knew that the elves could not openly challenge Sauron again. Their strength had waned, and their fate was tied to the courage of others. Legolas, Prince of Mirkwood, stepped forward. "I will represent my father, Thranduil, in this quest," he said. "The woodland realm may be besieged by shadow, but we will not abandon Middle-earth in its darkest hour." And so, the Fellowship was formed, a union of races, with the elves playing their part, though their time was ending. As the Fellowship journeyed through the wilds, Legolas served as their guide, his keen eyes spotting dangers long before the others. When they reached the gates of Moria, he sensed the dread within. "This is a place of death," he murmured, but Gandalf insisted they press on. The loss of Gandalf in Khazad-dûm weighed heavily on them all, but for Legolas, it was a grim reminder of the ancient war between elves and the Balrogs. "Now falls the last of the Istari," he said, his voice heavy with sorrow. "Yet our quest must continue." Exhausted and grieving, the Fellowship stumbled into the golden wood of Lothlorien. Here, time seemed to stand still, and the air was filled with the song of the Galadrim. Galadriel, the Lady of Lothlorien, greeted them with both warmth and sorrow. She, perhaps more than any other, understood the weight of the One Ring. When Frodo offered it to her, her eyes blazed with a terrible light. "In place of a Dark Lord, you would have a queen," she whispered, her voice trembling with temptation. But then, with a sigh, she mastered herself. "I pass the test. I will diminish, and go into the west, and remain Galadriel." To each member of the Fellowship, she gave gifts, wisdom for some, weapons for others. To Legolas, she granted a bow of the Galadrim, and a warning: "The sea longing will come upon you, for the doom of the elves is near." While the Fellowship pressed on, the elves of Mirkwood fought their own battles. Thranduil's kingdom was under siege by Sauron's forces, and though they fought valiantly, the shadow grew ever deeper. When news came of Sauron's fall, Thranduil stood atop his palace, gazing eastward. "The age of men has begun," he said softly, "and our time here is done." With the One Ring destroyed, the elves knew their time in Middle-earth was at an end. One by one, they boarded the white ships at the Grey Havens. Elrond, Galadriel, and even Legolas, who had once vowed never to leave, felt the call of the undying lands. As the ship sailed into the sunset, the last of the Eldar looked back one final time. The forests they had loved, the kingdoms they had built, would now pass into legend. And so, with hearts both heavy and hopeful, the elves departed, their song fading into the mist.